So WandaVision episode 7, I believe, I hope. This episode is using the kind of documentary style that we saw in things like The Office and Modern Family. Because I'm assuming both that Modern Family is actually owned by Disney, as well as the fact that it's an actual family sitcom, so it's appropriate. They decided to go in more of the Modern Family vein, although I think they are using the humor of both Modern Family, and I noticed some Curb Your Enthusiasm type stuff in there, which Modern Family and The Office are also very influenced by. And they did it actually a really good job. It seemed like they even used the same like cameras as Modern Family or something. I'm guessing because they own it, they probably could have just called some guy to get it out of a closet or something. And Elizabeth Olsen, I actually thought did a really good impression, did her best like Julie Bowen. It reminded me of Julie Bowen from Modern Family. So I actually thought she did a good job of doing it. It felt like oftentimes she's emulating the moms from these shows, but I think more so on this one. It also feels like as we get newer, they seem to emulate those shows better, which is interesting. Kind of shows me they don't. Anyway, and I also thought was the theme song a reference to the show Happy Endings, which is a really good show, by the way. I'm a big fan of that show. It's a good sitcom. I think that was a Happy Endings reference, and I appreciate. I mean, the end card was Modern Family, but the thing reminded me of Happy Endings, because that was the Modern Family theme was just the families and stuff. So, the plot, I kind of like the superhero stuff more than the sitcom stuff, because I often wonder, like most people, I think the sitcom stuff, where is it going and what's the purpose and whose idea was the sitcom stuff. And although I've noticed this one, the Malcolm in the Middle one last week and this one seem to be able to get that very well, it does feel like they're just sort of doing it for doing it, even if they can do it well. And they have actors who are comedically game too. I did like certain things, like Monica Rambeau kind of, it's clear she's becoming Spectrum, but I like she did the superhero landing stance just to make it visually clear that she has superpowers now. I was like, all right, guys. Obvious visual cue, but very much one. The breaking down the way it is, I'm interested in what's going on there with Wanda, like whose powers is it? What's going on there? That's sort of interesting. And then, of course, and this is a big spoiler if you really don't want to spoil for you, is the reveal of Agatha, which almost like takes over the whole conversation. No one wants to talk about Monica Rambeau. No one wants to talk about the Modern Family and Curb stuff and Kat Dennings and all that. Everyone just wants to talk about Agatha and the Agatha reveal. The thing with the Agatha reveal is we're on episode 7. There are 2 more episodes to go. I will say it does feel like they're doing it because they need to do that on episode 7 at this point. And it doesn't feel like structured in a great way. It feels like this should have happened earlier in the episode and they should have fleshed it out. Now, I don't know what exactly is going to happen in this, but it just feels more like the structure is that way because of the structure of TV, not because of the structure, not because it was done organically within the story. That's the way it feels to me, at least. But I've been questioning the show from the entire time. I do wonder, like, is she using Wanda's powers? Is she using her own powers? Like, her husband, who it seemed Herb, I think, her husband, whoever her husband is, mentioned to Wanda, is like, do you need me to help Wanda? Like, it feels like he's in on it. Like, who's the guy who asked the question, that voice? Like, but I did like how they did the Wanda reveal thing. That felt very much like what Modern Family would do if they did something like that, and then they cut it like with all the things, like within the style of the show, that felt actually very natural. And I thought that was a fun reveal. And Catherine Hahn is a great actress. Like, if anyone killed it during this whole time, it was Catherine Hahn. I've heard all sorts of crazy theories, like when she sprays them with perfume, it's really she's spraying them with a growth potion or whatever. Like, what's going on with the boys, like what's going on with Wanda, all this stuff. But it was kind of an amazing reveal. And the quick thing at the end with Quicksilver was also, it was a quick thing. You kind of, if you missed the end credit sequence, it's actually rather good. I would say I'm liking them obvious reference certain elements of the show. I wish this was more Office funny and less Modern Family funny. I don't think Modern Family is a huge show in syndication, but I don't think people look back on it that well. I enjoy the show, but I think I enjoy the superhero stuff more than the sitcom stuff, to be honest. I think that like sort of organically works a little better, and I'm curious to see where they're going to take it. I am really excited for what's going to happen next. to be honest with you. I think this ended on a really promising cliffhanger. But we have a question from Austin, who said, question for the show. It's a WandaVision spoiler. I wanted you to hear my theory. This is Austin's theory. Firstly, what if Agnes is working with Baron Mordo, Chiwetel Ejiofor's character from Doctor Strange? This is part of the plan to get rid of the magic user like he does with the basketball die, and Agnes is draining Wanda of power. Also, I think the cameo we haven't seen that Paul Bentley was talking about is going to be Dick Van Dyke. It would make sense with the first episode, and you said in movie crap he apparently was a consultant on the show. So they have actually said this. The creators said they didn't want any cameos from sitcom people. I think if it's a big cameo, I think it's Ian McKellen. Patrick Stewart has actually said that he's been asked, and out of respect for Logan, he's not going to do it. I don't think Hugh Jackman's. I think they kind of just want to move on with their lives. But Ian McKellen has not said anything. And I wouldn't be surprised if Ian McKellen shows up. I think that is the only Luke Skywalker kind of huge thing they could really do. Like, I don't think everyone's like Robert Downey Jr. I'm sticking with Ian McKellen, but that's an interesting theory. I like the Chiwetel Ejiofor Baron Mordo theory, Austin. I think it's a good thing. That was sort of his Patreon question, but early he requested it during the thing. So anyway, that's what I thought of WandaVision, and that was Austin's theory of WandaVision, and we'll see where it goes from here.